If there is a country that, without drawing much attention, has given us very good mixed martial arts fighters, this without a doubt has been Australia. But within the UFC welterweights, there is a man who has been working almost unnoticed by the public, but who in each presentation has given us real battles, to the point that if no one saw it coming, he has become the challenger to the champion's title. Give a welcome to who is shaping up as a new reference of Australian mixed martial arts, the Australian and very Australian Jack Della Maddalena. Giancomo della Maddalena, Jack for friends. He was born on September 10th, 1996 in the city of Perth in the region of Western Australia. Obviously in Australia. Our protagonist today is the son of a couple descended from Italian immigrants who for some unknown reason decided to go to the country, where any bug can kill you. Unlike many members of Licoverso, Jack was not born into a low-income family or mired in poverty. This trend is increasingly common in contact sports. Unlike some known cases, the athletes involved were not millionaires. The family is part of the true working middle class, the real middle class. In Spain, earning over $2,000 a month now classifies you as rich. Nobody move, this is a robbery.
Damn it, I plan to take down every last one of
you. According to sources, Jack was an average student, and from a very young age he started training in rugby, the quintessential Australian sport. Apart from training in rugby, he used to fight with his older brother, Josh, with whom he admits he fought very often and self-taught himself fighting moves they saw in videos. At 13, he began boxing training, inspired by his older brother and believing it would aid his rugby performance. And that's how things are done in Australia. If you want to get better at rugby, you go boxing, and if you want to learn to dance, you go to a shooting range. Around these years, Jack came across a character on social media who already has his story on the channel, Vanderlei Silva. Oh my god, what a fucking fall. Look at the shitty hair Vanderlei has got, dude. Embrace baldness with dignity, or you'll be off the bald list. Whose highlights and fight videos was he watching? And although the taste for mixed martial arts was there, he didn't know where he could train, so he spent a good amount of time boxing. Specifically, until he was 16 years old, when he discovered the Scrappy Gym and Mixed Martial Arts Gym, and as soon as he took a class, he knew this was his thing, immediately making the transition to mixed martial arts definitively. In the amateur plan, he had only one fight, which he would win by armbar in the second round. He made his pro debut against Alden Bates on March 12, 2016, but our protagonist didn't do well as Bates dominated him and won by technical knockout in the third round. And the bad news didn't end there, because 2 months later, he received a jiu-jitsu lesson from Darcy Bendy, who subdued him with a rear naked choke in the first round. There was a highly diverse event in Barcelona recently, and it sounds like a joke. A Chinese person subdues a Muslim with a Japanese technique. I love the
happy endings.
With 2 losses in a row, it seemed like mixed martial arts was finally not his thing. But it's here where Jack activates Vegeta mode. In his third fight, he faces Brant Cogill and resets his brain with an Anderson Silva-style elbow strike. On March 8, 2017, he debuted in the Rage Fighting Championship promoter, also fighting for the welterweight title. His counterpart Glenn Pettigrew couldn't do anything against our redhead, who applied the octopus move in the first round. With this beating, he secured the title and also began to make noise in the local Australian mixed martial arts scene. He would close his 2017 with 2 more victories on his record. First, he grinds down Ty Duncan and would end up taking the welterweight title from the Eternal promoter.
Mixed martial arts.
He then travels to England and defeats James Duckett with a rear naked choke in Cage Warriors. He returns to the land of giant spiders to make a whopping 5 more defenses of his Eternal M&M title in the span of 2 years and 7 months.
Oh, right in the chest. Oh, good hit.
Breaks the direction in the middle. It's not a headshot, it's not a headshot, and a left.
Lucas is strong.
Jack strikes again with his left. The way he attacks is remarkable.
Man, it's very fun, Jack. Still like at the top, in fact, a red cape and a bit of red. The way he attacks.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, well done.
Jack.
Oh, body shot again.
With a record of 9-2, with 8 of these victories by way of knockout or technical knockout, he catches the attention of the mixed martial arts Megalodon team. And the next major boxing champion, Dana Gigachat White, who gives our protagonist a chance to earn a UFC contract by participating in the Dana White Contender Series. His opponent this time was the Congolese Angie Losa, with whom he goes to a 3-round war. He
Was wild, all that good stuff, but
Jack utterly dominates the Osakian. He easily defeated him, and the Osakian was helpless against Jack's strength. After doing what he wanted with the Congolese, he took a unanimous decision, and because of the quality shown, he got his contract entering UFC through the big door.
I expect big things from this kid. He wasn't wrong. Get over here, Jack.
He officially debuts in the promoter on January 22nd, 2022, against Pete Rodriguez, whom he had left with a face full of blood in less than 2 minutes.
Learning how to sort of manage his energy.
And his cardio. Look at his nose, John, apart from even finishing the first round. Aware of the left's power, he throws a punch that knocks the opponent down and delivers a few more blows to end the fight. Making an effective debut in UFC. For his second fight in UFC, they put him against what seemed to be a pretty tough nut to crack. The Dagestani Ramazan M, who was coming off being the world Sambo champion and with a mixed martial arts record at this point of 25. But our protagonist doesn't believe in titles or gentilics. Despite nearly being submitted, he escapes and beats the Russian, securing victory by technical chaos. Apart from the performance of the night bonus, and you know that $50,000 don't hurt. Between November 2022 and February 2023, he has 2 fights that don't make it to the second round. First, he brutally defeats Danny Roberts, nearly decapitating him with an uppercut. He lands an uppercut, then submits Randy Brown with a rear naked choke after hitting him so hard he lands headfirst on the canvas. Look at this. Look at it again. It's like a scene from a movie. Both fights earned him the Performance of the Night bonus, securing an impressive $100,000. What an incredible achievement. I can't find any flaws in his logic. In July of 2023. He had a seemingly easy fight against Basil Japheth on paper, but it turned out to be quite complicated for him. It was a tremendous all-out war.
Afterwards,
After 3 rounds of violence, Jack takes a split decision. A decision that does not convince many experts, who considered that Hafez did enough to win. In all fairness, it was a pretty close fight, and it could have gone either way, even been a draw. I'm in charge here, will you shut up? Just 2 months later, he returns to the octagon to face off against the UFC welterweight gatekeeper Kevin Holland. Who fights crime outside the cage when not kicking butt in martial arts matches? I guess that Dark Knight moniker really does suit Kevin. Holland gives Jack a hard time for 3 full rounds. After the final bell, our protagonist takes another split decision. In March of 2024, he clashes with Gilbert Barnes, who was supposedly his litmus test. And certainly, the Brazilian showed why he was in the top 5 of the ranking.
Yes, shot by Burns. Beautiful job by Burns. Yes.
Well, our protagonist had landed some good punches. It must also be said that Burns had achieved some good takedowns that could play in his favor if it goes to the cards. But fortunately for Jack, this did not happen, because after a scramble on the floor where Jack got up faster, this happened. With this technical knockout practically at the last minute, Jack enters the top 5 in the ranking. And he needed at least one more fight to be the title contender, besides taking home the Performance of the Night bonus. At this point, and unfortunately, to the pain and suffering of Dana White, and practically anyone who deigns to be a lover of mixed martial arts, a misfortune had occurred. Leon Edwards had lost the title to the Master of Entertainment, the always electrifying Belal Muhammad. We'll miss the one who claims he talks that way due to being Palestinian and defending his cause, calling me a Zionist and Galician. First, he's a boring fighter, with all the letters in capital letters. He's efficient, he wins his fights, eh? Watch out! And in honor of the truth, look at this takedown he does to Leon. Brutal, but he's very boring, and he doesn't knock out even to save his life. Second, he was born in Chicago. And third, if you ask me about Israel or Palestine, I say Spanish from Spain. This new and entertaining champion was supposed to defend his belt against Shavkat Radmanum, but the fight falls through twice. First, because Belial suffers an injury to one of his toes. And the second, because the Kazakh withdrew due to dealing with a knee injury. Our protagonist was scheduled at that time to fight against the former champion Leon Edwards. But Dana makes him a Don Corleone-style offer, one he couldn't refuse, to fight against Belal for the welterweight title in the UFC, 315. And of course he doesn't refuse. May 10th, 2025, Quebec, Canada. Both men step into the octagon to determine the king of the category. From the start, both came out to exchange blows, with Jack being quite restrained when throwing his punches, being careful of any takedown attempt by Bilal, while he tried to connect with our protagonist with little success. The thing is, as time went on, Jack's punches were hitting Bilal more easily, who, determined to prove that he could box toe-to-toe with our protagonist, didn't change levels. But from the third round on, the fight turned into a war that's worth watching again.
Jack put a knee right up the middle. He's letting Jack do too much. Look at that head, moving at the better percentage.
Oh no, I mean, they shut you down. The relationship with the law, why?
In the fifth, already with the face made puree by Jack's fists. It was quite clear that only a miracle could prevent Bilal from losing the belt, a miracle that did not come. After 25 minutes of action, the judges gave the victory by unanimous decision to Jack, becoming the new UFC welterweight champion, and opening the door for a possible fight against Islam Makhachev, whom he promises to defeat in advance. I must admit that Jack was not a fighter I was keeping track of, but it took me just a couple of his fights to come to the conclusion that he had more than enough to defeat Bilal. His record stands at this moment at a solid 18-2-0, positioning himself here on our pure mixed martial arts victories list. Unlike Bilal, who always talks a mile a minute and wants to play tough guy, Jack is not a noisy fighter, and that's why he's gotten this far in such a quiet way. He climbed up the rankings almost unintentionally, but when the time came, he was ready to face the challenge, proving once again that luck is not just a matter of fate, but it's when preparation meets opportunity. Jack has the skills to be a lasting champion. His hands are heavy, he knows how to use them, and he has proven to have a good ground game, enough to clash with expert grapplers and come out victorious, so he could give us a quite entertaining reign to watch. Although you already know that anything can happen here, and he still has to defend his belt to be considered a champion. In all caps, comment on what you predict will happen in the second volume of this manga or comic series. See you in the next one, and thanks for being there.